Let's talk about the diagnosis of bipolar disorder. My name is Sophie. I'm a social worker and a mental health therapist, and this information comes from the DSM-5 and the study guide that I created for the LCSW exam. You can find the link on my page. Bipolar disorder is observed through periods of mania as well as periods of depression. If someone is having symptoms of depression without a period of mania, they would be diagnosed with depression. Mania is described as elevated mood, irritability, and increased energy, motivation, or goal directed activity. Symptoms have to be present at least 1 week, most of the day, every single day. During periods of elevation, periods of mania, people are experiencing these symptoms: inflated self esteem, delusions or feelings of grandiosity, like you are better than other people, or you are more talented, more skilled, more successful, your ideas are better than other people's ideas. Decreased need for sleep. If you go from needing 8 hours of sleep every night, suddenly you're waking up really refreshed and alert after only 4 hours of sleep. That can be a manic symptom. And a lot of times, what ends up with people going to the hospital for their manic symptoms is because they have gone days without being able to sleep, and they feel so exhausted and wired at the same time that the only thing they can do in that moment is go to the hospital. You'll find people in a manic state more talkative than they usually are, and this is so much to the point where other people can observe this behavior. The person themselves feels different, feels elevated, but also people around them notice that they are more up than usual. When they're talking, it's like racing thoughts, or they say a flight of ideas, just going from one thing after another. And again, these things don't necessarily have to be symptoms or disorders until they reach the point where it's impacting the person negatively. Maybe they can't do work at their job because they're so caught up in their own ideas, or they're completely disengaged from their family because they are so exhausted from not being able to sleep, or so caught up in their own self management that they can't be present with the people around them, and people are noticing, and they're noticing as well. It's causing trouble. Distractibility, low focus at work, at school, in conversation, unable to focus and unable to regulate your emotions and your attention on what you want to be focused on. When we talk about an increase in goal directed activity, this is spending money, this is promiscuous behavior, this is relationship behavior, like starting a new relationship or breaking up with somebody, making decisions really impulsively and without thinking about long term consequences for your actions. It also sometimes manifests physically, like agitation in your body, like go, 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 energy, you have to be up, cleaning the house or moving around, or really hard to sit still, uncomfortable to sit still. Also see an increase in risk-taking behaviors. For example, someone might be talking or thinking about committing a crime or a violent activity, something aggressive, or risk-taking behavior with money or with relationship behavior, those sorts of things, risk-taking behaviors. Money, investing, pulling things out, putting things in places, trying things, business ideas, but without a lot of follow through or thinking through beforehand, because they have reached this state where it's hard to control any impulses, and the ideas keep coming faster and faster, and your body isn't able to regulate through sleep or other means because you are so up. Mood, it impacts your mood, right? When you are manic, and sometimes people who are bipolar identify feeling really good in that manic state, but it's not a good feeling. It's too much, it's intense, it's distracting, it's overwhelming, it's hard for the people around you. It is, it increases self consciousness because you can tell that people are perceiving you differently, because these behaviors are happening at such a high intensity that the person is having a negative impact, and they may also be impacting the environment around them. Because of the episodic nature of bipolar disorder, someone will be in a manic episode, and maybe that's when they're identifying the problem or going to the hospital, and then there will be a crash. And they'll enter the period of depression for a while, and sometimes a long time, and they'll be having depression symptoms: low mood, loss of motivation, withdrawal from others, isolation, feelings of loneliness, worthlessness, that self esteem that was really inflated. It comes crashing down, maybe as a consequence of the actions that they did in the manic episode, but sometimes just from the guilt around it. This is a really shameful and stigmatized disorder, and people, no matter their level of insight or awareness of their illness or whatever, feel the effects of being marginalized for their mental illness. Last thing you want to look at when you are examining for bipolar disorder, you see those ups and downs, you're identifying some of those symptoms that I'm talking about, is that they're not due to some sort of substance use activity or some sort of physical health condition. You are identifying clear patterns of mania, followed by periods of depression, followed by periods of mania. If you're seeing that pattern of behavior, it's pretty clear that it'll likely be bipolar disorder. If you want more information about this, leave a comment and I will send the link for the study guide that this information is from.